Well, first off, let's just admire that backing plate. It's like a mirror finish. It's amazing. Look how thick it is. I just can't get over it. Anybody that's gonna come in here, I'm gonna be like checked out. Oh, okay. But anyway, look at my bolt doesn't even go all the way through to my lock washer. And then this one over here is so short that I couldn't even use my bolt my bolt doesn't go long enough to even get on my nylock nut. Over here it's not long enough where I couldn't even get the nut on there when there was a washer in place. So I thought I had measured and measured and measured. Clearly I didn't measure well enough, so but the prototype works. The prototype being the flush fit heads up there. That's really nice. So I'm just gonna get the same hardware but longer. All right. So finally got some longer bolts to bolt in the steering pedestal. So if you see, I mean, these aren't even on the nylon lock washer there. So I just left these on until we could get the new bolts in. So let's go ahead and get the bolts off, the old bolts off, and put these new ones on, and hopefully those will be the length that we need. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, you guys know that I like my hardware, my new hardware. So if I gotta order more, I gotta order more. Oh shucks. But I hope I don't have to. So yeah, let's get this properly installed. Hopefully for the last time, for a very long time. Let's get going. Okay, got these two out, and I left those two, this one and that one back there. I left them in because I don't want this pedestal to fall over. So as long as we don't crank on it and hold on it too hard, it'll just, those two bolts will just hold it right in place. But I wanted to show you guys why we're having to do this, because well, obviously you saw that the nut was not fitting on the bolt. So I should have ordered this size, but instead I got that size. So I think my problem was when I ordered these, I didn't actually take into account the thickness of the nut. I just measured the thickness of the material, or the materials that we're going through. So I guess lesson learned, when you're ordering your hardware to a specific length, take into account to your washer thickness, because that's, you know, that's a good size, and of course your nut thickness, because that's definitely a good size. Plus you want a little bit of bolt to show through the nut, just so you know that it's all the way through and fully gripped on. So yeah, now we'll just get the new hardware cleaned up with some acetone so we can butyl it, and then put these two in and do the other two on the other side, and hopefully this will be in place for 20 years. It might be aggressive. 10 years? We'll see. At least a long time. All right, let's do it. Okay, so the first two bolts are all butylled up, and then so first I acetoned them, then butylled them. I'm putting less butyl on this time because what I don't like, and it's fine, you can fix it later, you can like dig it out with a knife or a razor blade, is I just don't like the butyl sticking up through around the top of the bolt. It just doesn't look as good. But you know there's good squeeze out too, so there's pros and cons. So anyway, I'm trying less butyl this time. So hopefully I'll have less squeeze out that's showing, like obviously showing. So now that those two are butyled in, let's go ahead and stick them in the hole, and we'll go down and put our hardware on. Devin's over there in the boat shed. She's got a project going too. How you doing, babe? Good. You look so cute over there.
Just gotta get a few supplies.
Okay, can I help you with anything?
Yeah, I need gloves and a lighter.
Okay, Admiral has spoken, so I will go help her out. And then put this little project on hold for a second. Okay. So, now that we've confirmed that our hardware is long enough, now we can go for the final install. But I'm here by myself. What do I do? Because when I turn the bolt down there, or the nut down there, it's just going to turn the bolt. So, what we're going to do is just put a little Allen key in there, and then cover it with a rag. Because if it swings this way, I don't want it on our nice new powder coat. But that way, if it swings, it'll just hit here or here, and then it's like someone's holding it. Yeah, so that doesn't work in all situations with all fasteners and all nuts and bolts, but in this case it works good. Otherwise, I would have had to go get Devin really fast and have her hold that. So, yeah. So far, so good. Let's keep going. Cool. So now we're going to put our hardware on. And before we do that, we're going to do our anti-seize. And remember, this stuff is nasty messy, so get a wet wipe or a paper towel. Wear gloves if you choose to, and I would recommend it. So do as I say, not as I do, because I'm not wearing gloves right now. So again, it doesn't take much, and you don't need to get it on all the sides, because when you do the nut, it'll wrap it around itself. So we'll do that one, and while we have it out, we'll do this one, even though he's not quite ready yet. And then, because we've got stainless on brass, we'll just do a little bit up in there too. Can't hurt it. So, okay, that's plenty. Way too much. So now, immediately wipe your hands. Because this stuff is so, like, it's just really, really, really hard to get off of anything. I guess that's kind of good for its purpose. All right, cool. All right, so now get your hardware out. And we'll start with this front one first. This is the one that we put our Allen key in there up top. So when we spin the nut, Allen key will hold it for us. Okay. So that's tight enough. Well, let's get a little bit more. Alright, that's good enough for now. Okay. So, what I'll do next is wipe off some of the excess anti-seize. Because when I'm working down here later, I really don't want to be, I'll be bumping into this stuff. I don't want to bump into it with anti-seize all over it. Plus, it just looks nicer too. Looks more like a finished job, right? There we go. Better. Okay. These are crappy wipes. Leaving little wispies everywhere. Okay. So now we'll go up on deck or up in the cockpit, move our Allen key to this one, and get that one tightened down. Cool. So we got both of those on. Started taking the nuts off of these ones, and now we'll just repeat the process. 2 more, and could it be finished? Maybe. What do you think, babe? I got 2 done. 2 nuts, 2 bolts done.
Excellent.
Okay, I'm gonna start on the next 2 now. Cool, so got them all in, and still has some squeeze out from the butyl tape. That's fine. I mean, I used less this time, but there's still a good squeeze out. We'll just come back and clean that up later. But I'm gonna tighten them down in a star-shaped pattern now. So like when you put lug nuts on a car, you don't do them all in one order. You kind of go into the different corners. So star-shaped pattern, tighten it down. So I'm gonna do that now for these 4 bolts, and then consider it installed. All right, there we go. It's all buttoned up. We'll go down and tighten it. Because with butyl, you want to wait a little bit, tighten it again, wait a little bit, tighten it again. No, it's okay. No big deal. But I did remember one thing. So this is a handrail, and it goes through here. It gets supported there, and then it goes into these feet here. But there's no through bolt that goes through. So if someone were to pull up on this, there's nothing to keep it from just going straight up out of the thing. So I'm gonna go through the bits and bobs bin and see if I can find some hardware, and then just through bolt it. That way it won't be a problem. See if we can do that next. Okay, so I went through bits and bobs, found a couple of washers, nuts, and bolts, drilled through here because it wasn't actually all the way. This side had a hole in the plastic and the metal, but this side did not. So, and when I was drilling through, I went a little too far and nicked our nice new powder coating. Darn it. But there's some other nicks on there too. I think they have some like heat gun activated like powder coat repair like gel or something. I hope they do. I think they have it. I think I've heard about that before. So I'll have to order some of that. But yeah, now this isn't gonna come up. It's through bolted, and you know how we love our through bolts. So I'm gonna take the hardware off because it was in the bits and bobs. I want to go shine it up, and then we'll put it back in. And then finally, the actual like pedestal secured to the cockpit sole. I think we can say done. That's amazing. So let's just clean up that hardware and pop it back in and call it good. Feels good. So I made a multi-$1,000 mistake. Let me show you what I mean. So the radial wheel drive, that guy right here, that we ordered brand new from Edson Marine. Edson. The bore size is too big. What I mean by bore size is when you order your new wheel, they actually cut this hole, and these two pieces clamp together on your rudder shaft, and then there's a through bolt that goes through there. So when you submit your order, they have you send the measurements for that diameter right there, and then they bore that out, ship it off, send it to you. Well, I measured too big. I measured too big. So, fortunately, Devin's dad, David, is has a machine shop and connections in the community to welders. So, he had a buddy of his who's an expert aluminum welder run beads of aluminum down the inside of our too big hole right here. So now it's all the way around. And so then Devin's dad, is going to then bore this out to the proper size so it fits nice and snug. Yeah. So crisis averted, but only because we had access to a machine shop and an expert aluminum welder. So thank you, David, and huge thank you to Chris. Chris is an expert welder out of Walla Walla, Washington. He's worked at a university, taught welding at a university. He teaches currently at the community college there. So if anybody's looking to learn how to weld, he's an excellent resource. And thank you, Chris. Could not have fixed this multi-$1,000 mistake without you. And of course, thank you, David.